Thank you, Olivia, for joining us today. And hopefully, your week has been pretty good. We'll be able to have a nice time just introducing yourself and getting to learn a little bit about you and your story. I know that for those who are going to listen a little bit later, this is Okay Atheists, and we run these community type events so that we can learn about people in the secular community. And this is our opportunity to celebrate you and to celebrate our personalities, ourselves as humans, and just to know that there's so much more than just being an atheist or a secular person, that we're just multifaceted people. And so, Olivia, I came across her Twitter account pretty much just at random. I saw some very positive messages that were coming out of her account, and I thought, wow, this is a really interesting person. And initially, some of the tweets were very centered around health. And a lot of the posts were about, maybe taking a walk, or, trying to focus on your dieting habits or whatnot. And then that's when I thought, you know what, this is someone that I would really like to get to know a little bit more, than just beyond the tweets. And who is this person? So, so that is my brief introduction to our guest today. And so, Olivia, welcome.
Yes, it's good to see you all.
I think when we were speaking about doing this together, um, we were talking about doing this more like an interview so that we could keep the conversation going. I think I'd like to start with just a little bit about you as just a human being. And one of the things that I was interested in about was if you could tell me a little bit about your background and your childhood. If you could sum it up in like 2 minutes, what would you say?
Hmm. Me and my childhood, the best thing I could say is it's been a pretty hectic life. Cause I was born physically disabled. Like my whole childhood, I was being bullied by other people.
I can definitely understand that. I was also bullied as a kid, and yeah, the
Yeah.
emotional toll and physical toll that it takes on a person is hard. So I guess it would be fair to say that, growing up as a kid, you had to put up with a lot of that in your life.
Yep.
And at some point, like, and now you are, an adult, and those things that have happened to you have possibly like carried on through your life. So uh how did that affect your life now, and or has it affected your life?
It affected me in, I would say, a positive way. At first, it was affecting me in negative, but then I just started thinking to myself like, why should I be negative? Like I should try to change and give being positive and healthy a chance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And speaking of being positive and healthy, that's one of the common themes that you focus on your Twitter account, is that from my interactions with you, you're a very positive person online. And if a person starts to try to bully you, you're very quick to shut it down. And I really admire that about you. But
Hmm.
some of those comments, unfortunately, have been centered around your weight. And that was one of the things that we were going to talk about today. And for some, it's a difficult topic to talk about because it's a personal journey, and not everyone is willing to talk about what they've gone through. We're in a society that embraces the idea that thin is being healthy, when that's not always the case. And there are definite extremes. Someone can actually be very ill from being too thin, whereas it's just the opposite from having too much weight. But I think that's why when people talk about body positivity, it can mean not just embracing obesity, but that it's just embracing you as a person, and who you are. And if that's a journey that, for you, for example, that you're taking right now, this is a journey that is meaningful for you, and you're doing this for the reasons that that you have. I'm a bit rambling here, but one of my questions was, why don't you tell me a little bit about your journey or the process that you've gone to with the weight loss? Like at what point did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to do this?
When I started this weight loss journey, I was very overweight. I was obese. I was like, I want to say 450 pounds, and this was around yeah, it was around 2020. I got a new prosthesis, and my mom and my sister's been bugging me to, like, try dieting, exercising, or do weight loss surgery. And I kept, like, ignoring them, telling them I don't need to do surgery. I just need to go for a walk. And on New Year's Eve of 2020, once I got my new prosthesis, it broke because of my weight. And that's when I was like, okay, it's time to actually buckle down and start dieting, cut out the sugar, and see about doing weight loss surgery.
I know you said that you were pretty resistant to the idea. So once you made that commitment, was it a lot of learning for you to do? Like, did you have to learn, basically completely start over on how to eat,
Yes,
what to do?
I had to relearn everything. Like, my whole entire life, way before I was dieting and exercising and do weight loss surgery, I never ate in a vegetable. I couldn't stand vegetables at all. But once I finally dedicated myself to being healthy and doing the surgery, and then continue to lose weight and exercise and diet, I started to slowly, bit by bit, like eating vegetables.
And one thing I've noticed is that you have really you want us to kind of like follow along in your journey as you've posted this on Twitter, your daily routine. Sometimes you've talked about your walks, the distance that you've gone. And like when I see that, it just makes me feel like, wow, she's doing it. She's out there and like she's really doing this. Like this, it's awesome to see your transformation. So I have seen, as you have been recording some of your journey online, that occasionally somebody will go online and make a rude comment. They'll, without even knowing who you are, and they immediately think, oh, you're just like this big person, whatever, and they start making fun of you. How do you deal with that? Are you just at this point like, whatever, fuck off? Or like, how do you handle that?
I usually, like, don't mind it. Like they could check my ways. Like, yeah, thank you for pointing out the obvious, or they'll insult me saying that I never exercise or diet. I'm like, I've been for quite a while and I'm losing weight.
Yeah. And how far along have you come? Because I remember in one of your tweets, you pointed out to one of those bullies that you're like, hey, dude, like I've lost almost like the amount of you. Like, can you say that? So how much have you lost so far?
Went from 415 pounds to now, as of now, I'm 361 pounds. Yep,
That's amazing. Wow.
yep. I'm gonna keep on
Congratulations.
going.
How can somebody, if they're interested in this procedure, how or where do they get started?
The way I got started was by a friend who did the surgery a year ago, and she got me she found helped me get become a patient of the Whole Health Weight Loss Institute.
There will be those that will listen to this later on, and they may say, hey, I can identify with Olivia, like I can hear my story in her story. How can you What words of advice would you have for a person that might be struggling with their own weight
My
management?
advice for people is to never give up. Just keep going. You don't have to push yourself to where you hurt. Just keep on going bit by bit, slowly but surely.
I like that.
Yeah.
As you've done this journey, have you met other people that are going through this as well? Have you found any support groups or anyone that is I guess basically, who is your support network
My
at this
support
point?
network would have to be my family. Outside of that, it's just me. But if
Yeah.
other people find this and they connect with this, you're not alone. I'll support you.
Aw. And I know you will, because you are one of the most positive people out there on Twitter, and Twitter has a lot of trash. So
Yeah,
I'm just saying, it is always so refreshing to see your tweets, in spite of whatever might be going on and whatever's going on in the world, and you are there and you're just focused. And I just really love that.
thank you.
So, as we're talking about this, what is your goal at this point? I know we're talking about healthy and weight loss, but do you have certain end goals with that? Is this a life change for you?
There is kind of like a goal. Like my goal is to get down to 140 pounds, so I could like go travel and go camping and hiking and live my life.
Now, you said that you had a prosthetic device. Is that for like an arm, a leg?
It's
What
it's
what
for my
what is that
left
for?
leg. I was born with no leg below the knee and no left hip.
Oh, wow. So currently, I'm guessing that you're using a prosthetic to help you
Yes.
complete your walk. That's even more admirable, Olivia. Like, I really am just amazed at your resilience. And this is part of why I just, again, like, chose to reach out to you and to share your story here, because the more that I started to look into more about you as a person, I started to see this is a person who is not only overcoming their own obstacles in life, but you're really a very resilient person. And you're telling others, don't give up. I think that's just such an amazing message to help others that might be in this similar predicament or something that they can relate to.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, besides the weight loss, that is just one aspect of who you are. So can you tell us some of the favorite things in your life?
The things that I like in my life is gardening. I love gardening. I've always been interested in the way of growing your own food. Next year in spring, I will start gardening so I could grow my own healthy food for my diet.
Well, when you start your garden, you should definitely record that and, let us know how it goes. I can grow but oregano, basil, but yeah, anything beyond that, I'm not much of a green thumb, and mostly everything dies. So I try. I'm
I will
really
most
excited when I get like a tomato, but then it's like, oh,
Yep.
but then the birds will eat it. So
I will most definitely do that.
yeah, it's always such a challenge. So I always think that's pretty cool when people can do that. Whatever you decide to grow, you can also probably share with a co op community that does like urban gardening, and then you can share your bounty with others and get from them in return.
Yep.
So
I also want to do that too.
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you have those like aspirations. Besides gardening, like what inspires you?
What inspires me is kindness. Like I like what I'm seeing. What inspires me is people being kind to other people, and that's what I want to
Mhm.
do. Is like I want to be kind to other people and inspire them to never give up on whatever dreams they want have to reach those dreams and just being positive and kind.
I love that. Lately, and a part of why OK Atheist has a Discord channel is because it allows everyone to just escape the noise of the day and just come into the Discord and be able to just shoot the breeze or talk about whatever, away from a lot of the distractions on Twitter or whatever social platform they're on. But yeah, for me, and especially with I am someone that has anxiety. So I can only take so much. And if I start reading all the Twitter feeds for the day, a lot of times that algorithm will serve me violent videos, people, being really horrible to one another.
Yeah.
Twitter decides, well, let's just throw in the controversy. And, for me, it just gets to be a bit overwhelming. So I'm really grateful that there are other spaces that we as a secular community can go to and breathe a little easier outside of Twitter, because Twitter is it can be a very toxic environment, especially if one is a person who is more sensitive to that kind of information. And that's like something that I don't really like on Twitter, because it's very difficult to filter through all the negativity for me. But again, that's why it's so refreshing when you post a tweet or just a message about how your day is going, because it's it's like a little ray of sunshine for me.
Yes.
Besides that though, what else do you like to do?
My hobbies are collecting books. Like I love books. I collect manga. I collect cooking books. I collect historical books about like aviation, like zeppelins and airplanes. I also have my gardening books. I also like watching anime, and I also, as a hobby, I collect model kits of airplanes and zeppelins, and I put them together.
Wow, that's really cool.
Hmm.
Okay, so I like manga and anime as well. I don't really read a lot of manga anymore. I did when I was younger. Okay, so top three favorite manga of all time. What are they for you?
That would have to be Naruto. Fruit baskets. The third one would have to be a manga that's called Blame. That that one is I want to say it was an early 2000s cyberpunk manga.
And what about as far as anime? What would you put in your top three favorite anime series?
My top three anime series would have to be number one, always Naruto. Second one would have to be Last Exile. And the third favorite one would have to be, yeah, Attack on Titan.
The animation in that is just stunning.
Yes.
That is a really good one, and the music too. It's just like
Hmm.
adrenaline pumping. Yeah, I think one of my favorites is One Punch Man. That's like
Oh,
it
that's
just
a good
cracks
one.
me up. Cracks me up.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned that one of your goals, besides gardening, is that you want to eventually travel.
Yeah.
Where are some places that you want to visit when you can?
I would love to visit South Korea, Mongolia, Italy, and Denmark.
I remember one of our conversations on Twitter. You were posting some traditional Korean dresses, I believe.
Yes, on my mother's side of the family, we are Korean, and I'm like 23% Korean and 1% Japanese. So
Um,
yeah, I have a Korean grandma.
well, hopefully, you will be able to start exploring the world. I know that travel for me is something that I really appreciate. I I didn't really have the opportunity to travel much in my 20s because I was pretty much broke and this didn't have the funds to do it. But when I hit like my 30s, I had just made a personal promise to myself that I was going to start a bucket list. And I just felt that one can travel for just to be a tourist, right? But then there's a
Hmm.
whole other aspect of traveling. It's learning about other cultures, it's hearing different languages, and it's learning to understand traditions and societies that are, outside of the day to day of America. And I think it's just a really good opportunity. Like, I wish everyone could have the opportunity to travel abroad. Sometimes I'll go to a country and I will have a very loose idea of what I want to do, but I won't necessarily say, okay, I'm going to do these things in this order. I just kind of try to enjoy the moment as much as I can, because sometimes, like, for me, again, with my anxiety, sometimes there are days when I can be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and explore 10 museums, and then there are other days when I'm like, I just really just want to sit in that cafe. uh, any other places in mind that you'd like to visit?
I would also like to visit every state of the United States.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big goal. Okay, so
Yeah.
I also have a goal of wanting to visit the 50 states. However, that for me as a Latina, sometimes I get really nervous about wanting to visit the southern states, which definitely puts a damper on me trying to complete visiting all 50 states. So at some point, I'm either just going to have to get over it and just, like, fuck it, I'm going to Alabama, or, or, and I think it might be because when I was a young kid, I was visiting the southern part of Missouri. I used to live in Missouri, but in Kansas City. So going to the southern part of Missouri is very different than up north, the northern part of Missouri or central Missouri. So when I was there, there was a group of white men. They were in a truck and they rolled their window down, and I thought that they were slowing down to let my family cross the street. And I was like, wow, these people are so nice. I was about to say thank you, but before I could even say that, the driver stuck his head out the window, and the first thing he said to me was, why don't you and your kind go back to the country where you came from, and drove off. And I was probably like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10. That was my first experience of, like, a racist remark being made to me. And I was so confused because I thought, I don't understand why he's saying that, because I was born here. I'm from here. I'm American. Like, what country am I going to go back to? And I had never had somebody look at me with such hate and so much disgust. So I guess it might stem from that, is my little hesitancy to travel alone to certain states. However, I'm not saying that to deter you, and certainly you should reach your goals. So, and hopefully I will reach mine as well. We'll see.
I hope you do.
For people that may be listening to this and thinking, yeah, I don't have an atheist community, or I am alone. I just left my church. I don't know what to do now. Okay, Atheists is that community for you. So you're always welcome to join here and hang out with other people, like-minded folks, hopefully help you along with your journey. So,
Thank you for having me.
yeah,
It's a great community.
one thing I was wondering is that, I know you have said you're bringing a positive message online, and your message for others is also to not give up, even if it's, regardless if it's a health or weight loss, it could be anything in their life, to just,
Hmm.
continue to try to keep pushing forward. And, that comes down to just overall just having this bit of resiliency, and we can find that resiliency in communities like we are now, or also just within your own self. And that is definitely takes a lot of strength. But for those who may be listening that are questioning their religion, there are ways of living a fulfilling life and leading at reaching your goals and finding your own successes without the having the aspect of religion. And it is entirely possible to have that. And I think that, one of the perfect example is in a person like Olivia. So, Olivia, and I had a question here that I didn't quite get to, but we kind of touched on it. I know you said you like to read books, but are there any websites that you can recommend to people that might be wanting to know more about your procedure. Did you have a bariatric surgery, or I'm not exactly sure the procedure that you had?
Yes, I had the bariatric sleeve surgery,
Okay.
and there's a lot of websites, I believe, in each and every state for bariatric surgery. For me in California, it's Whole Health and Weight Loss Institute in Napa that I went to and had became a patient and did the surgery.
And again, this is while we did focus on Olivia's story on weight loss, and that was something that was personal to her. This is also more about, reaching goals and aspirations that you may have had for yourself as well. So those who are listening may have a different set of goals or a different set of struggles that they're working on right now. But it's always good to have reminders that there are people out there who are making it happen. And it is not easy and it is a journey. But if we can stick together and find the people that will support us, even if it's one person, sometimes that's all that's needed in order to just be that little extra push to make something happen, right? And I think that was important for me to say too. But with that said, this has been a really lovely conversation, and I'm just so glad that I had the opportunity to talk with you.
It was awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, likewise. So keep filling us in with details. Let us know how you're doing. And if you do come across a moment where you're feeling like, you need some support, like reach out. We're there for you.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do my best.
Okay. Well, take care then. And everyone, have a great evening. Bye, Olivia.
Yes. Bye.